story gives your morning some glory. Stay informed, stay in tune as the day greets new bloom. Good morning headlines with Skyjack Morgan. Start your day just fine. Information for you, darling. Hot coffee in your cup. News to fill you right up. Trends and weather on the go. Morning show you need to know. Good morning headlines with Skyjack Morgan. Start your day just fine. Information for you, darling. Hot coffee in your cup. News to fill you right up. Trends and weather on the go. Morning show you need to know.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. You know, it's a beautiful day in Grand Island, Nebraska, and here we are, Grand Island, Nebraska. Can you believe it? It's amazing. Welcome. If you don't know if you don't know who the Kennedys are, I think you might be confused. Maybe you're not American or you've been living under a rock. Most people know who the Kennedys are. They're a Democratic Party royalty. They're a dynasty, really, of Democrats, and they stood for things like breaking up organized crime, putting people on the moon, grand ideas type of stuff. Ted Kennedy was one of the longest service of the Senate. He was out there. Senator Kennedy from Massachusetts. He was out there for a long time. And if you want to know about what the Kennedys stood for, you don't need to look very far. They come up a lot in politics. Now, RFK, Robert F. Kennedy, he was really into breaking up the mob. He wanted to break up crime families. He hated them. He was the attorney general under John F. Kennedy, his brother, which, nepotism much. So he ends up becoming the attorney general under John F. Kennedy. John F. Kennedy is shot dead. And R.F. Kennedy, he ends up running for president and is shot dead in Southern California by a Palestinian Liberation Organization member, someone who wanted to free Palestine, shot Robert F. Kennedy. Now, I've never been a fan of his son. His son was kind of interesting. He used to talk a lot about the environment. He was an attorney himself. He stood up for environmental issues as an attorney. Really interesting guy for most of his life. He started developing dysphonia, and now he talks like he's in pain all the time. He sounds like pain. He just sounds like he's dying all the time. He just suspended his presidential bid and backs Donald Trump before appearing with him at his rally. I think this is in the lobby of this hotel I'm staying at right now. There is a Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Robert F. Kennedy Sr. photo of his rally in black and white. And it's in a barn. Well, his son decided to throw his money behind a crime family, throw his support behind a crime family. He's out of it. He can't do it anymore. He's had enough. After all, this is the man who had a worm eat his brain. He's just admitted that he got a worm into his body that ate part of his brain. How do you get a worm in your brain? Everybody's talking about the worm in the brain, the dog and the bear. Now, these are a lot of animals. I think this is really huge for animal issues. If you're a vegan out there, you might be super stoked about this. If you're a woman, maybe not. See, the thing is, we have Robert Kennedy Jr., deciding that he's no longer going to follow in the steps of his father and be against the mob. He's going to go ahead and join a New York crime family called the Trump Organization, the Trump Syndicate, and he's throwing all of his support behind him. Why? I don't know. The guy's got a worm eating his brain. Who knows? I mean, this is the party of the party of the worm eating the worm brains. Hey, worm brain, how you doing? I'm doing fine. Fine. Um, how do you get a worm into your brain is the question of the day. Well, you get a worm into your brain by eating nasty animal flesh. Robert Kennedy Jr. has said several times that he wouldn't eat a human or a dog, although he's been accused of eating a dog and was posted the person who accused him of eating a dog posted a picture of him with the dog carcass. RFK says no, 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 no. That was a goat. I'm pretty sure it was a goat. RFK Jr. doesn't know what kind of animals he's eaten. He had he loves to kill and eat animals, and then he blames vaccines for his what ails him. He'll blame vaccines for giving people autism, but doesn't understand that, hey, if you don't eat old nasty flesh, parasite ridden flesh, then you might not get brainworm. Eating dogs can give you brainworm. The guy eats dogs, although he says he doesn't. Also would never eat a human. He has to put that out there. If you have to tell people that you wouldn't eat a human, then you probably got other things going on, bro. Like, if you have to tell people, well, I wouldn't eat a human, it should go without saying. That's one of the things. Like, if someone tells you they wouldn't eat a human, it should give you pause. It should make you think, I didn't think you would eat a human. What are you saying, man? I never thought that about you. If you have to explain to people that you wouldn't eat a dog, there's something going on. This is a guy who supposedly found a dead bear cub on the road and decided to pick up the bear cub carcass. And he said he was going to slaughter the poor thing and use the bear's flesh for meat to eat, and use the bear's skin, I don't know, to make a hat or something. And that might seem weird, except that RFK Jr. had a giant freezer full of roadkill. It was part of his habit. He thought it was great. Free flesh. If he found roadkill, he wanted to have it in his freezer so he could eat the roadkill. And he just doesn't know where he's getting the brainworm. Where did this brainworm come? Maybe from all the roadkill, man. Maybe that's where it comes from. So he eats roadkill, but this time he forgot that he had a dinner reservation at a restaurant really close to Central Park in New York. So he took the dead bear cub and a bicycle and staged this situation where it looked like a bicycle hit the bear. And it was a mystery for over 20 years, and no one knew what happened. Turns out it was drunk RFK Jr. uh, staging the incident. Police couldn't figure it out. They couldn't figure out why there was a bear in Central Park. They don't know how it got there. They knew that the bear was clearly killed in an accident. It's funny, for the thumbnail of this, I wanted an AI image of this animal carrying a mangled corpse of a bear cub, but it was so gruesome I didn't want to use it. The AI representations of RFK putting a bear cub killed by a motorist into the Central Park, I couldn't with good conscience use that image because the AI representation of it is far worse than what my imagination had made. I did not think the AI would make such a gory image of RFK Jr. dragging a bear corpse into Central Park. And we talked about it on the show before, but the thing is, this guy who hates animals clearly, if you love animals, then you should be happy that RFK Jr. did not find any support in the United States. There were a few weirdos who liked him, but most people determined that he was himself a crazy person and should not be here. I don't think that you should rest easy, though, because he threw his support behind a person who abuses women. So the animal abuser throws his support behind the female abuser, the human female abuser, and now you have all the weirdos that supported RFK Jr., all the brainworm fans are now supporting Donald J. Trump. And they appeared at a rally together with lots of fanfare. It was great. Everyone had a good time. Friends were made, backs were patted, and his father, Robert F. Kennedy, and his uncle, John F. Kennedy, and his other uncle, Teddy Kennedy, all rolled in their graves. Could you imagine having a son who. Can you imagine being the guy who breaks up the mafia in America? He's the gangbuster. He was the one. A lot of people think that's the real reason why he was killed, but I think that's all kind of conspiracy theory stuff. Let's just go with the accepted narrative for now, even though I'm suspect of all accepted narratives. He decided that he was going to go against the legacy of his father and join a crime family. Join the crime family. The Trump crime family. Hey, we got a lot of things. It'd be a shame if something went wrong around here. Hey. Holy crap. It's a horrible thing. Sounds like he'd get on well with Severidge. Yeah, he would. He would get along well with Severidge. He's roadkill, had a brainworm, and he had a freezer full of roadkill. He also thinks that that vaccines give you autism. God, don't worry about the autism, Robbie. Bobby, don't worry about the autism. Worry about the brainworms, my friend. Did I make it with ideogram? I think I did. I don't know. I switch off between ideogram and the other one, Leonardo. Good morning, Sky. Woke up and the sun is in my face. That's a beautiful thing to wake up to, isn't it? It's a beautiful thing to wake up to. I'm happy about that. You couldn't make it up. No, you couldn't. But I guess like the thing that I think is really interesting. Okay, other than the fact that Robert F. Kennedy's son joins the crime family. God, that's crazy to me. But also, the animal abuser could not find support in America, but the woman abuser can. Donald Trump has a lot of support in this country, and he is the abuser of women. He abuses women. I don't think that's too bold of a thing to say. No matter how you feel about politics, and I endorse none of them because none of them are vegan. If Donald Trump can find support in America, where does that put women in the standing of this country? You have a man who abuses women running against a woman, which is hilarious, being supported by an animal abuser, RFK. Now, I'm glad RFK is gone, and I think that there's something to be said. Thank God America didn't go so bad as to support that crazy person. But look, Americans like animals more than women. There, I said it. Someone finds an animal abuser, they're like, we're not going to support that, Ken. Are you crazy? We're not going to support an animal abuser. Okay, you're right. Let's not support an animal abuser. Thank God America is somehow sane enough to understand that they're not going to support not going to elect an animal abuser. But hold on, we have a woman abuser right here. Would that be okay? Yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll vote for a woman abuser. Don't you worry. The only silver lining the only solace I can take from all this is that, well, two things. One, Americans once again prove that we are a country of animal lovers. Yes, I know we kill more animals than any other country in the world, but they do that out of sight. The people don't know what's going on. They're blissfully ignorant. And also, never forget that most Americans have never voted for Donald J. Trump. Never have done it. They've never done it. He's never won the popular vote. He's just a loser who somehow keeps getting into office. Well, he only got into office the one time. So, thank you. RFK Jr. lovers, here's something else a little hopeful. Here's a little hope for you. Um, Oklahoma, do you remember a while back we reported that Oklahoma teachers were going to be forced to use the Bible in classes, that they're going to have the 10 commandments in the schools. They're going to have to a statewide law saying that schools are going to have to teach the Bible and incorporate Bible stories into their teachings. Well, teachers aren't going to take it. I feel like this is going to be another Clarence Darrow and the monkey trials, the Scopes monkey trials. We just need we need someone to get fired over this so we can make it a Supreme Court issue. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see this play out. Oklahoma teachers were told to use the Bible. There's resistance from schools as students return. They're coming back. They got their school supplies. Can you imagine being a little kid? You got your little trapper keeper, your little Lisa Frank. You got your Lisa Frank folders. You got your new erasers and your new pencils. And you're like, I can't wait to go back to school. Did you bring your Bible? No. Here's a Bible. You're going to need this, kid. Why do I need a Bible? Because we're teaching it now. this is this is science class. Too bad we're going to use Bible studies to teach the Bible, to teach science. That's how we're going to do it. What the hell? Anyway, at least some people are standing up against it. And as they stand up against it, we're going to see we're going to see more and more interesting stuff happen. I'm actually looking forward to this. Oklahoma revokes the license of a teacher who gave class QR code to Brooklyn Library in book ban protest. The teacher gave the students a little code so they can get access to books that were banned. Don't worry, kids. I know that they're not going to let you read here in Oklahoma, but here you go. You can you could read any of these books online now. That's funny too. Try to ban the books. It's the 21st century, man. You can't ban books anymore. What's the matter with you? We got the internet, Pally. We got the internet. You think these kids can't use the internet? What are you thinking? I don't I don't get it. Um the Harris is backing away from Biden's democracy focus, but she's putting her own isn't backing away from the democracy focus, but she's putting her own spin on it. It's funny because I keep on hearing people say that the DNC speeches weren't policy focused enough, and I'm like, I watched both. I watched the RNC and I watched the DNC, and I don't think either of them were very big on policy. It's really weird that they will always attack one, and they both sides they'll do it. Like the Democrats will attack the Republicans, Republicans will attack the Democrats, and I'm over here going, I'm Sigma, man. I want nothing to do with either of these parties. I'm not big on either. I already know whose side I'm on, but I'm not endorsing anybody. But they need to contrast them. It's a compare and contrast exercise, idiots. Like if you're out there and you haven't do you have to do this in school where you have to compare and contrast two conflicting ideas? Like this is what you're supposed to do. You compare these two things and see which one comes out on top. That's the whole idea. But the Democrats will attack the Republicans, Republicans will attack the Democrats, and the news medias will do the same thing. And now we're just in tribalism. If you're going to say that they were light on policy, then show me where the Republicans were talking about policy while Hulk Hogan was ripping his shirt off at the RNC and Donald Trump was talking about they're going to ruin America. Okay, okay, they ruin America. Like that's not policy. Anyway, I think we already know the policy of the Democratic Party, and we have, you know, their platform, and we also have the fact that it is a choice between democracy and whatever Trump is proposing, which is close to despotism. He's going to be a dictator only the first day. He wants to be a dictator only on the first day. Lobsters are beyond sentient. They are around forever. They have so much life. Of course they are. I love lobsters. And you know what? I love to see them alive. Compare being different to contrast. Exactly. You need to compare being different in order to contrast. You're absolutely right. You know, on Veg News, they're tasting dairy-free cheese. They're heading to Portland. They're doing a cheese tasting. There you go. In new Max Special, Chef Charity Morgan wins over meat eaters with meatless barbecue wings. You know what's funny about barbecue wings? Barbecue is such a strong flavor. How the hell don't you know what barbecue tastes like? You could put it on chips and it tastes like barbecue chips. Barbecue wings, you do not have to kill a chicken in order to have barbecue wings. Like it's so weird because chicken, that flesh was the easiest one to copy. It's the easiest one. It's kind of like Veganese has been around since I went vegan. Veganese was there. Tofutti sour cream. Those things are like really easy to fake. They're really easy to do. You can put barbecue sauce on me. Oh yeah. Barbecue crisps. Indeed. You can put barbecue sauce on anything and it tastes delicious because it's the sauce. Yeah, it's the sauce. It's that easy. You could put sauce when someone tells me that oh, chicken sure tastes good. I didn't get too much. I was doing activism yesterday and I didn't get too much of that. It was kind of a I got a lot of people looking and talking about the truck and chickens, but no one really talked to me. So I didn't really do much outreach yesterday. Hardly any. A little bit. And but when people tell me that, oh well, chicken sure tastes good, I ask them, what's all the sauce for then? Why do you need all the sauce? Well, to give it flavor. No, I say, well, some people eat it. Some people eat it with nothing on it. Who? Your dog? No, nobody eats it. Nobody eats chicken flesh without sauce. That's basically that's what every cuisine in the world. If you want to say I love Indian food, it's chicken and sauce. You love American food, it's chicken and sauce. You love Cuban food, chicken and sauce. It's always just chicken and sauce. Every restaurant is selling chicken and sauce. The sauce might change, but the chicken flesh is just a vehicle to get the sauce into your face. The sauce is the flavor. The sauce is what's driving you mad. That's what you think is good. America's processed meat obsession is causing an epidemic in China. Obesity related cancer rates are going up. Hilarious. See, people realize everyone thinks that China is going to be the next superpower, but the problem is that they all want to eat like Americans. As their middle class grows, their consumption of pig flesh grows exponentially. You think there's going to be a billion Chinese people out? There's a reason why there's a billion Chinese people, and it's not because they're having lots of babies and they just like sex more or something, or they're playing fewer video games. It's because they're living longer. That won't last long as their middle class grows and eats more and more like an American. They're all going to die just like we are. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. It'll be fine. Soy for the win. Exactly. Soy and sauce. It's delicious. You got it right, Sky. Barbecue flavor comes from the spice and the sauce. It's not the texture and flavor of the flesh. You're absolutely right. Barbecue sauce. Well, I like that Carolina barbecue. Uh, Basically, it's boiled meat. It's boiled animal parts slathered in sauce, and so much sauce. They cover it in sauce before it gets to you, and then they take pieces of the flesh and they dip it in more sauce. They'll take barbecue things and then dip it in it's weird. Think about this craziness, right? Chicken wings. They take the chicken wings, slather them in sauce, and then they get to the table and people take this sauce covered piece of baby flesh, dip it in more sauce, and then put it into their friggin' mouths. It's had to go, by the way, it's filled with soy oil because it just spent 8 minutes in the fryer. One thing that I've realized when I'm here traveling in the United States, every once in a while I smell like, what is that smell? And it's corn oil and it's soy oil from the soy plants and the corn um, processing plants. And I realized, oh my God, everything tastes like corn and soy. Everything that they're frying in soy oil predominantly. In soy or canola. I see rapeseed plants too, and you could smell it. I could smell the rapeseed production facilities, and I could see the rapeseed growing in the fields. And I realized, oh my God, nothing tastes like anything. Everything tastes like rapeseed. Everything tastes like soy. What do you think that flavor is? It's soy. That's what the flavor is. That's what the smell is. At first, I thought, wow, people are frying a lot of chicken here. Nope, I was just close to the soy plant, and that's what they fry chicken in. They fry chicken in soy. All these years, I thought, because I've worked a lot of fry stations, man, and you put fries or chicken or even chicharrones into a fryer, and you could smell it. This whole time, I thought it was the smell of flesh. It's not. It's the smell of soy. It's crazy. Jackie Boyle, do you like the new format? Never had one lesson. What do you think, Jackie Boyle? Thank you so much for putting some pennies in the pot. I appreciate it. The really three green hearts of courage coming right back at you. The really traditional Chinese food is very healthy and long living. It's almost all vegan. It's unfortunate they've changed that. Well, it's hard to be a superpower and not eat like a opulent piece of crap, and thus making the taste excuse even dumber. Exactly. Thank you, Jackie Boyle. Jackie Boyle says, brilliant. Thank you so much, Jackie Boyle. I appreciate you. Today in the front page news, Benji. Shit. Thank you. That was I'm trying to learn I'm trying to learn um Hey Jude on the xylophone. Take my breath away. I used to be able to play it. It's hard to just come up with it's hard to just be able to play things on the side. I'm not that good yet, Benji, but I did play it for you once. Take my breath away. take my breath away. Look, on the AP, I saw that they had this portrait of a protester. This young man is 20 years old. Outside the Democratic Convention, a young man talks of passion and plans. Let me tell you, my friend Marnie was at the DNC protesting. She was protesting for animals to not be tested in labs, like my shirt has. She dressed up like a mouse that was tortured, and she went to the DNC and she talked with lots and lots of people. She and somebody else were there as protesters, and in Chicago. I wish that they would talk to people like that. These people with the pro Palestine protests, they've been saying the same crap for so long. It's like, bro, you can have what you want right now. It's so easy. People keep on being like, "Oh, we got to do something about Palestine." Bro, it's already just release the hostages. Like, look, man, I know you don't have the protesters don't have power over the whole. They're just angry and they feel like people shouldn't be getting killed. And I agree, people shouldn't be getting killed. Release the hostages. Release the hostages. Release them. It's not that hard. Let's keep this done. Thank you. And Paul Campbell. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Jackie Boyle. Let's keep this dollar thing rolling. Thank you so much, Mr. Satan. This is great. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, everybody. I appreciate that. But look, animal protests, we need to get animals into your mind. You need to get thinking differently. We need to change the way people think about animals. Everyone already knows what needs to be done. We need to change the way people think. That's a much bigger task. Change the way people think about animals so that people look at RFK Jr. and they laugh in his face when he says that he wants to eat roadkill, or when people say, "Well, it's an individual's we're not no rights violations." We laugh in their face because we don't like the fact that people see animals as commodities. Stop using animals as commodities. Is this a hard concept? Oh my God. Nah. Let me turn the tremolo on. Na 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 na. Hey Jude, Judy, 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 Judy. Na 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 na. Hey Jude. Thank you so much. My stylophone's burning up. Thank you so much. I'll have to buy new batteries pretty soon. You keep it up. Thank you so much for all the love. I really love you. Thank you, Vegan Power Lab. Thank you, Mr. Satan. Thank you, Paul Campbell. Thank you, Benji. Thank you, Jackie Boyle. I appreciate you guys so friggin' much. You make me feel powerful. I got the power. You got the power. We have the power. After all, it's up to us, not the next world. Look, I'm all about trying to profile protesters, but god damn it, let's get some protesters who are actually trying to say something and do something. We have solutions. We have the National Institutes of Health that we need to take down and convince to adopt the research modernization deal. We have already an alternative solution to this problem. It makes no sense to test anything on an animal. We need to use organs on chips, human relevant experiments, and things that make friggin' sense. Stop testing on animals. Animals did nothing to you, and they don't deserve this. They don't deserve this at all. Do they? Vegan Power Lab, what do you think? Do you think they deserve it? I don't think animals deserve what we're doing to them in labs. It's horrific. It's National Maryland Day, it's National Waffle Day, and it's National Peach Pie Day. Well, I don't know anything about National Waffle Day or National Peach Pie Day, but hey, I've never been. Have I been to Maryland? I don't think I've ever been to Maryland. Oh yeah, I've been to Baltimore. I have been to Maryland. I've been to Maryland. Have you been to Maryland? I've been there. Ban animal testing now and forever. It seems like such an easy thing. It seems like it would be so easy, but instead they're talking about something like Palestine. Look, it's I wish I can get people to show up en masse, get a few hundred people to show up about animal rights at the DNC. Maybe then they would maybe profile us in the front page of the AP. Maybe they'd profile somebody talking about animals. Why can't we get hundreds of people to show up at that? You know? Why can't we do it? Why can't we? Well, I already know why. You know why too. You know why. It's because all the real vegans don't want to show up and do activism because none of the activism actions are vegan enough. And most of the people who call themselves vegans are actually human supremacists, Nazis. And the ones in the middle who are actually people who just care about animals, they don't want to they don't want to be thought of as a weirdo, so no one shows up. Just a few people show up. Animals cannot consent to being tested on humans. Test on consenting humans. Well, they can microdose on humans, and it'd be pretty freaking simple. And plus, we have AI models and organs on chips. The research modernization deals we're taking a look at. It's a book, but it only takes a few minutes to get the gist of what's going on there. Palestine is important too. Yeah, but what are you going to do? What are you protesting for? Free the like every political party is saying the same thing. Free the hostages. There's peace talks going on right now. Free the hostages. Sudan is super important too. Very important. Where are the protesters for Sudan, the largest humanitarian crisis involving children in the history of the world? Sudan. What's going on there? Animal testing is no longer necessary. Indeed. I wonder if it ever was necessary. What did the animals have to do with our problems? Why do we have this issue? The animals got nothing to do with our shit. Stop using them. They're not ours to use. Supercharged September Atlantic hurricane season to intensify dramatically as the Atlantic hurricane season approaches its peak. AccuWeather meteorologists warn of a dramatic surge in tropical storms and hurricanes. You know what's funny? I was way ahead of AccuWeather on this. I told everyone, hey, these crazy storms we're seeing this early in the year, we are going to see some crazy storms come September. And now AccuWeather's finally catching up with old Skyjack here. Look, I'm not an oracle, but I'm telling you, it's it's coming. We're going to have some nasty storms. I'm glad I am not going to be on this side of the country when it goes down. We're going to talk more about hurricanes, more about tornadoes. Hurricanes kind of sort of cause tornadoes. It's going to be bad. Not looking for it. Yes. It's easy to be all about human rights when you can mix a little hatred against Jews in it. Yeah. Yeah, that's it makes it easier. That's true. It does make it easier people who don't like the Jews. That's true. Faster than AccuWeather? I don't believe it. I'm faster than AccuWeather, this guy. You could see the writing on the wall. Look, when we're having big hurricanes early in the year, it's going to get worse. I promise you. I ask myself every time I see Palestine people on the street. Look, the pro Hamas folks, you got this. You got the answer. You like it's, hey, free Palestine, two-state solution. No problem. That's what everybody wants. That's what everybody wants, except for the Palestinians. Hamas wants a one-state solution. Not going to work out. Free the hostages, two-state solution. That's always, I remember when it first popped off, I said that, and people were like, Sky, I can't believe you're not taking the side of. Look, man, I've been studying this for 40 damn years almost. What, 30 years? I've been studying and listening and reading about what's happening in the Middle East. And let me tell you, when I was in the friggin' fifth grade or fourth grade, I think. We were bombing Iraq. Iraq and Iran was in my head all the time. Rambo 3 came out, and I had to know who the Mujahideen were. I had to find out all about the Chechnyan Muslims. I've had to know this stuff my whole life, and it's always been the same story. You can ask RFK Jr. His dad was killed by a Palestinian Liberation Organization company man. This has been going on since his dad was murdered. We're talking about the same story over and over and over again. And it's a little complicated. You know it's not complicated? Animals don't belong to us. Stop doing it. Stop testing on animals. Sorry about the Jeremiad, everybody, but you know how it is. This is my morning show. The Jeremiad is the word of the day. It refers to a long cautionary or angry rant about something. I am I've been known to do a little Jeremiad myself, Peter. Peter Parker. Jeremiah refers to an angry rant about something. It can also refer to a similarly prolonged lamentation or expression of great sorrow or deep sadness. His Jeremiah about trivial problems with the campsite didn't go over well with his friends. I've been known to do a Jeremiah from time to time about how animals are treated in America and around the world. I sure am. One of the most exciting exhibitions now on view in Josh Klein's project for a new American century at the Whitney Museum of American Art in New York. Klein uses video sculpture and installation to explore the social, political, and environmental crises we are facing, but Klein's work transcends the Jeremiad and grapples with the persistence of beauty as a basic adaptive tool. And unlike any other artist I've encountered recently, he works simultaneously in the utopian and dystopian mode. Wow, Washington Post. Washington Post, jeez, that's a nice little. Was that one sentence? There's a couple sentences, but gee whiz. Do you think you can use a Jeremiah? Do you like to do a Jeremiah here? Peace begins on your plate. Right on the nose, Latva. Right on the nose. You got it. Nailed it. Nailed it. Jeremiah was a Jewish prophet who lived from 650 to 570 BC and spent his days lambasting the Hebrews for their false worship and social injustice and denouncing the king for his selfishness, materialism, and iniquities. When not calling on his people to quit their wicked ways, he was lamenting his own lot. A portion of the biblical book of Jeremiah is devoted to his confessions, a series of lamentations on the hardships endured by a prophet with an unpopular message. Are you a prophet with an unpopular message? Nowadays, English speakers use Jeremiah for a pessimistic person and Jeremiad for the way these Jeremiahs carry on. The word Jeremiad was borrowed from the French, who coined it as Jeremiade. Well, there you go. Jeremiad. Don't you think it's a good story? I think it's great. I think it's great. I come for the pro vegan Jeremiah and stay for the community. Thank you. Is that what the book of Jeremiah is? Yeah. It's him complaining a lot. That's what the book of Jeremiah is, talking about how crappy everyone else is. Yeah. A Jeremiah. This is wrong and that's wrong and this is stupid and that's bad. It's like it's a tirade. Yeah. A diatribe, if you will. The French aggression. Yeah, the French aggression. Hey, I know you're going to be happy. I know that, hey, normally we have a no pet policy here, but hey, there's news. There, we knew it. We knew it here first. Do you remember when Homeboy was from Wild Earth was on the show? Wild Earth launches nutritionally complete vegan wet cat food. There you go, vegan wet cat food. Do you think it's going to change the world? Will this save billions of animal lives? What do you think? Do you think we will? Do you think other people will get on the horn, get on the internet, buy some Wild Earth, announce unicorn pate, its first nutritionally complete vegan wet cat food. I love that they're called unicorn pate. That's funny because when people talk about like chicken nuggets, I like to call them dino nuggets because I've heard that dinosaurs probably tasted like chicken. So but dinosaurs are extinct, so I think it's kind of funny to be like that. But I like unicorn. Let's just call everything unicorn or dragon nuggets. That's what I need. I need dragon nuggets. Exploit fictional characters, exploit mystical animals, not real ones. Unicorn pate combines lentils, potatoes, peas, carrots. We gotta get like peas and carrots, Jenny. Marine microalgae and cranberries, and it's fortified with all of the vitamins and minerals that cats need. It exceeds the nutritional standards dictated by the Association of American Feed Control Officials. Hey, there you go. You got it, man. Mission accomplished, everybody. Our team is incredibly proud to launch the new category leader with that we hope will catalyze change in the entire pet food industry, said Ryan Bethencourt. Nutritionally complete vegan cat food has been a long time coming, and we're very thankful to be able to launch a whole new category of products. There you go, man. $23 million in the funding round that just closed. Mark Cuban's part of it, secured the investment. Look at this. Look at this cat with a unicorn pate on the head of the cat. It's cute AF. I think it's going to sell. What do you think? Look at this. What do you think? I think it's healthier overall for cats. Mission accomplished, everybody. You did it. You did it. You did it. Even exploiting mystical animals is upsetting. Yeah, that's true. But when I see someone riding a dragon in Game of Thrones, it upsets me less than when I see someone riding a horse in Planet of the Apes because I know it's not real. Unicorn pate for the win. They should call it wet. Do we have a no pet policy here? Yes, it's a no pet policy, but we did it. It's been done. It's been done. New York unicorn pate. America gives this gift to the rest of the world. And thank God. Now you can feed your cat without killing a bunch of animals. Actually, after all, it's so weird to think a desert creature eats tuna fish. We stole cats from the desert. They're hydrophobic, and yet we feed them tuna fish. Tuna could be the size of a horse. They're like the leopards of the sea. That's why they're pretty bad for you because they're carnivorous. They're predators. They're apex predators. And we feed this apex predator, we grind them up into tiny little pieces and we feed them to cats. That's insanity. That doesn't make any sense. It's not natural for a cat to go into the ocean and attack an animal the size of a horse that's as fast as a cheetah. You know what I'm saying? Unicorn pate. Enter unicorn pate. It's going to be great. I hope it's available in Europe too. Hopefully they'll ship it to you. Get online. Get on the internet, man. Get yourself a VPN. Get on the internet. Have them send it to you. You'll be all right. Someone will send it to you. Look, I'm glad that it's here. Today in history, let's just see if there's any hope to be had. The Rome was overrun by Visigoths. Man, Mount Vesuvius. I think about Mount Vesuvius all the time. 79 believed until, look, the 17-year-old witness of the eruption of Vesuvius believed until 2018 to be the date of the massive eruption of Mount Vesuvius, which buried the cities of Pompeii, Herculaneum, Atlantis, and Stabiae, killing untold thousands. Latest evidence suggests that the eruption occurred after 17th October. So whatever, they used to think it was today. Vesuvius always blows my mind because right now, oarfish washing up on sea, all of those sea lions beaching themselves, orcas dying on the sand. And I always wonder, maybe in Mount Vesuvius, do you think birds started falling out of the sky and people started acting like, wait a second, something going on? If all of those cities, like thousands of people were there and they were going, Man, something ain't right. We're sure getting a lot of earthquakes lately, and all the birds just fell out of the sky, and all the dogs ran away, and all the rats left the city. You think that something might be going on? I think that might. You think that when we're killing 20 million chickens so far this year have been killed because of bird flu. 20 million. Almost every herd of cow now in America, all over in the United States, has bird flu in the milk. There's bird flu in the eggs. And all of us are like, you think something might be going on? Right now, I'm in Nebraska. They have a record number of tornadoes. There's been 129 reported so far. The largest ever was 110, the biggest year for tornadoes ever. You think that people might be going like, hey man, is something going on? I always wonder. I wish that we would know that about Mount Vesuvius. If they were all like, I think something's just not right. Something seems like it's not. Oh well, let's go back to work. Let's go back to our cubicles. I'm sure they had cubicles in ancient Rome or whatever the Roman equivalent was. I mean, they had cities. They probably had cubicles, right? They probably had cubicles and dead end jobs and the whole thing. Um, that's the that's my lesson from history today. In music, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. That's my favorite. I love the name Wolfgang. If I have a son, I want to call him Wolfgang. Wolfgang. Come here, Wolfie. Wolfgang. It means walking like a wolf. Wolfgang means like the way a wolf walks. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart completes his violin and piano sonata in A in 1787. He was the only Austrian. No, he's not the only. There's been a lot. Austria's given the world some great stuff, and Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart is one of them. Him, Falco, of course, comes to mind. Arnold Schwarzenegger, and probably some other Austrians that I can't think of right now. Probably musicians. If you ever go to Vienna, you know how in Hollywood they have the Walk of Fame where there's a bunch of stars and the people's names, whether they got it from, whether they're famous from radio, news, sorry, radio, TV, or movies or music. The Hollywood Walk of Fame, which I think is weird because it should just be movies, right? Like Michael Jackson shouldn't be in there. I mean, O.J. Simpson shouldn't be on there. Well, O.J. Simpson did do. He did do. Muhammad Ali should not be on there, but whatever. Muhammad Ali has a star, and it's on its side. It's the only one on its side because he thought that the name Muhammad, the name of his prophet, shouldn't be walked on, and so they made the concession that his star would be the only one that is sitting like this so that no one can walk on it. Seems dumb. Like it's the Walk of Fame, folks. Like you don't get to choose how your star is if it's perpendicular or horizontal, but whatever. They made that decision. It's still there. You can go look at it. It's a weird one. Um, in Austria, in Vienna, if you go there and have yourself a vegan Sachertorte, it's delicious, Sachertorte, and then you go and they have a Walk of Fame as well, and it's all of the opera greats, people who are really good at making operas, and you could go and walk on their faces, not their faces, but their names and whatever. My brother Mark and family went to Pompeii in summer 2023 and were impressed. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty impressive, right? A bunch of people frozen in time by ash. Tornadoes are terrifying. When I was a kid, I saw a car flying 100 feet above the freeway. Yeah, tornadoes are terrifying because they come out of nowhere and you don't know where they're going. They could destroy the home next to you and then jump over yours and kill everyone next door, and you can't. It's Tornadoes are terrifying indeed. Oh, there was that Austrian too. Thank you, Jackie Boyle. I wasn't going to mention his name, but I wasn't going to mention his name. I think I talk about people like him too often because I think most people still follow his teachings. I think he's probably more that particular Austrian is probably more influential than Jesus Christ. How many people still follow him? People who call themselves vegan. Carlo Gambino is there, the Gambino crime family. Yasser Arafat's birthday is today. What a great guy. Yasser Arafat probably single-handedly gave us our problems today. He did win the Nobel Peace Prize because they gave it to him preemptively in order to try to encourage him to adopt a two-state solution. But he danced this dance where sort of had he sort of had Palestinian independence, but didn't really have to sign off on not killing all the Jews because he was like, yeah, I'll sit with the Jews. He was always back and forth. A lot of people think that he was assassinated. He died an old man. I don't really know if I believe any of that, but they did an autopsy, and it was a whole. They exhumed his body years after he was killed or died. We're not really sure. Yasser Arafat. I grew up thinking Yasser Arafat was going to eventually be like a Mikhail Gorbachev and change the world for a more peaceful future. Um, well, it didn't work out that way, did it? It didn't work out that way at all. Jorge Luis Borges, the famous writer. God, we had a lot of good birthdays. And William Wilberforce. I always love to bring up William Wilberforce because he is the one who, he pushed for the end of slavery. He was a guy who believed that slavery was wrong. And, the leader of the English abolitionists. Of course, you probably know that in 1834, England abolished slavery. You probably know that, but he died in 1833, a year before it was done. So sad. But he headed the parliamentary campaign against the British slave trade for 26 years until the passage of the Slave Trade Act in 1807. But the abolition didn't happen until 1834. About 30 short years before the Americans abolished slavery. But one of the people I really want to talk about is Howard Zinn. He died in 2010. He was a historian and activist. He wrote a book called The People's History of the United States, which sought to establish an alternative narrative about American history by arguing that it was largely the product of exploitation of a majority by an elite. Well, that's one way of putting it. Howard Zinn, I think, accurately painted a different picture of history. I've read the book. I've referenced it many, many times. It's one of those books that you read and keep because you want to keep reading little parts of it. And what he did, he told the history of the United States from the perspective of the activist, of the protester, of the resistance. And it's a fascinating read. I really highly recommend the book. I couldn't recommend it at all. And you can usually find it like at Friends of the Library for $1. It's a fat book, but it's really quite good. Howard Zinn, I liked it. If you ever want to read a book about the history of America, I think Howard Zinn's a really great place to start, especially if you weren't raised here and don't have the other stuff floating around in your head. The accepted narrative. If you know me, I don't really just accept the accepted narrative. I think we should look at everything with a jaundiced eye. And I kind of learned that from Howard Zinn. I read him in high school and read him over and over and over again from then on. Yeah. Been to Vienna, haven't seen that. Now I want to experience. You haven't seen that? Oh my God. When were you in Vienna? 100 years ago? No, it's there for sure. I promise you. Vegan something and classical music stars. Sachertorte. Sachertorte. You don't know what Sachertorte is? It's a Sachertorte. It was invented in Vienna. It looks like this. It's like a chocolate cake. There it is, Sachertorte. It's got chocolate sponge, chocolate glaze, and apricot jam. That's what it is, apricot. I couldn't remember the fruit, whatever fruit it was. But yeah, it was invented in Austria by Franz Sacher, supposedly in 1832, for Prince Metternich of Vienna. It's one of the most famous Viennese culinary specialties. Also, one of my favorite places to drink coffee is Vienna. They have the greatest coffee culture in the world. You can't you can't help but love Vienna and how they drink coffee. They give you coffee, and everything's got a different word for whatever coffee you're drinking. But they also give you a little thing of soda water with your coffee, and you drink it in a square. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Salissa Zongo isn't aren't tornadoes normal in America? Sorta. I mean, we have them in America. There's sort of, yeah, but like they don't happen very often, and they usually give you. They don't happen like they are now, where it's just like one after the other. Like in Arkansas, they just had a ton this year. Um, in 1 month, they had seven. That's a lot. So no, tornadoes aren't normal. Like yeah, normal like storms, I guess. Wolf Lisha is a great musician based in Colorado. Oh, the Wolf Eraser, Wolf Lisha, the Wolf Eraser. Yeah, they have vegan Zachatorta too. You can have it. England helped abolish the slave trader that was just discussed. I understand that he's a direct ancestor of vegan Ian Clarkson. Wow. Lead singer with the Jive Aces. That's amazing. Incredible. That's great. Interesting. Thank you for sharing that. Celebrity birthdays today. We have a few. We have Dave Chappelle, who used to be really funny. Stephen Fry, who is vegan. We have one vegan who went. We have one. Rupert Grint. I don't know who Marley Maitland is, but Stephen Fry is vegan, and he's one of the great English humorists. You probably know his voice. He was the voice of that caterpillar in that one movie where that girl named Alice goes someplace. What's that called? Alice in something land. She meets a caterpillar, and it's Stephen Fry. All right, who died today? Richard Attenborough. He kind of reminds me of Richard Attenborough died in 2014. Richard Attenborough is the guy who played the director and actor. He's the brother of David Attenborough, and he's known for directing the landmark 1983 film Gandhi. Mr. Gandhi! He also was in Jurassic Park. I know him as a Jurassic Park guy, but of course, Richard Attenborough also. He directed Mr. Gandhi and won Academy Award for Best Director. He directed Ben Kingsley. Mr. Gandhi will soon find out that the British Empire. It's a great film. You should watch it. Charlie Watts died in 2021, the drummer for the Rolling Stones, the greatest American blues band born in England. And Henry J. Kaiser, the industrialist. Kaiser, of course, was the guy who started the manufacturing companies, but pretty sure he's also the guy that just started prepaid healthcare. Let me see. During World War II, Kaiser established the Kaiser shipyards, built Liberty ships and Victory ships using innovative mass production techniques, and collaboration with Dr. Sidney Garfield. Kaiser implemented a pioneering prepaid healthcare model for shipyard workers. Yeah, so we still have it in America. It's called Kaiser Permanente. um, Richard Nixon knew this guy, and he decided that this is how American healthcare should work. It's kind of funny because supposedly Kaiser is still one of the better healthcare systems that we have in these United States. But if you ever wonder why America has such a dumb way of doing business when it comes to managing our own health, why we spend $3.5 trillion a year for our healthcare and yet have worse coverage than other countries that spend a fraction of that amount. Well, you could thank people like Henry Kaiser, the industrialist who made pals with Richard Nixon. There you go. You can always follow the money and find out where it came from. There you go. Leave it to industrialists. Anyway, he died today. He died at the ripe old age of 85. Thank you for joining me. This has been the Morning Sky, and my name is Skyjack Morgan. Thank you for being here. If you want to stay for a couple minutes longer, I do a poem of the day to end the day, and maybe you'll enjoy it. It's Poussin, 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 Poussin by G.C. Waldrep. G.C. Waldrep. Do you know who G.C. Waldrep is? After T.J. Clark. Two underworlds in Poussin, the one touched by the force of necessity, the other remaining untouched. Simone Weil makes her way to the refectory in Ashford. She walks slowly down the corridors with or without help. The hem of her gown brushes the immaculate plaster of the long wall. She could live forever inside this moment. She thinks or begins to think the beginning of a thought. She is wrong, of course. The great hand bravely channels the fear our mouths have become so suddenly. Just the base of the thumb illuminated in its flex away from the river, away from the viewer. Two underworlds and the pollen settling against the washerwoman's drying fabrics. Semantic parlor in which the magic lantern images flicker. Wile's elbow akimbo with what's left of her body, and Weil herself, aware of the image she becomes in the long hall, it doesn't have to mean anything. The other patients who saw her or whom she saw, their depleted and depleting forms. Ignorance is my true labor. The text wounds me into a history of belief, phrase by phrase. The forensics, while might well have stressed. The chaste thirst of the classical running alongside its own shadow, its double, it can't ultimately know. Two underworlds, the foreshortening of the prone body and the cry that precedes it, genuflecting to the fiction that it trusts. Huh. Interesting. G.C. Waldrop. Homage to Paul Celan. Homage to Paul Celan. Waldrop lives in Lewisburg, Pennsylvania, where he teaches at Bucknell University and edits the journal West Branch. Waldrop's most recent books are Feast Gently by Tupelo Press. He earned a BA from Harvard, PhD in Duke, MFA in poetry from the University of Iowa. Interesting. Well, there you go. Genuflecting to the fiction you trust. Well, I hope you genuflect to the fiction that you trust today, my friends. Thank you so much for... Stephen Fry ain't vegan according to the Googs. I read last year when it was his birthday that he went vegan. No, I think he is vegan. Maybe you have to dig a little deeper. He went vegan recently. So maybe I could be wrong, but like I say, people get the benefit of the doubt on their birthday, Mr. Satan. So I'm sorry. You like my British accent? I'm Richard Attenborough. Well, thank you, Beshlack X. My British accent, I didn't know I used it today, but thank you. Doesn't Morgan mean morning in German? Yes, it does. Except there's an E instead of an A. So it's Morgan. Instead of, if you replace the A in my name with E, you get Morgan. When I lived in Germany, everyone knows, for about 6 years, and many, many Germans liked to they laughed every time they said, Guten Morgen, Herr Morgen. Guten Morgen, Herr Morgen. Herr Morgen, Guten Morgen, Herr Morgen. They thought it was very funny. And I always had a good laugh with them. Guten Morgen, Herr Morgen. Yeah, it does. Good catch, Vegan Power Lab. I think my first cousin Michael is an accident and emergency doctor in Kaiser Permanente in California. Kaiser Permanente is mostly in California. I think It's in other states, but not as popular. Maybe it's just a California thing. Yeah, I heard he went vegan. Vegan. Jackie Boyle says the same thing. I heard that Stephen Fry went vegan. It's up to you. I've done my part. It's been an hour and 10 minutes, and this show is an hour long. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been a beautiful day. I appreciate you so friggin' much for being here. And illegitimate non-carborundum. Don't let the bastards grind you down. Keep up the good work, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful day.
Growing up, summer's daily ride with your morning side by side. Catch the latest, feel the vibe. Sky will keep you well supplied. Morning headlines with sky information for you, darling. Sunrise on the horizon. Sky is blue, no denying. News with Skyjack Morgan. Bright and early new dawn. Every headline, every story. Here's your morning, some glory. Stay informed, stay tuned as the day greets new blue. Good morning headlines with Skyjack Morgan. Start your day just fine. Information for you, darling. With coffee in your cup, used to fill you right up. Cleansing weather on the go. Morning shows you need to know. Join us on this daily ride with your morning side by side. Catch the latest, feel the vibe. Sky will keep you well supplied. Good morning headlines with Skyjack Morgan. Start your day just fine. Information for you, darling.
Good morning with Skyjack Morgan. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow, or see you maybe tonight. No, tomorrow. What day is today? Today's Saturday. I'll see you on Monday morning, but tomorrow we're doing Sunday school, and we're going to start with the After Dark. After Dark is, I know a lot of people have texted me and emailed me. I know After Dark, After Dark. I'm going to do it. I promise. It's going to be a little bit different and very much not 3 hours long. But so if you're interested in seeing the After Dark show again, please show up sort of around the early part of the show, because I'm not going to do 3 hours. I can't anymore. Not for a long time. I'll try to do 3 hours again in the future, but I gotta apply resources where I can. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Illegitimate non-carborundum. Don't let the bastards